So silver has come down in price quite significantly over the last couple of weeks. Who'd have thought it, eh? Well, myself and quite a lot of other people, in fact, have been saying that silver was due a big price drop. Now, how far silver will go by the end of the year is anybody's guess, and I'm going to have a good stab in the dark at it here in today's video. But I have to admit, even the big skeptic that is me is excited about where silver has the potential to go. Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Now the hot topic of the week is of course the big drops in silver price that have happened. It's on sale, it's on discount. It's, to be honest, been on discount and sale for these last couple of months. It's slid down and down and down. We are a long way away from the $29 an ounce silver that we saw earlier this year, and I do think there is more room for it to go down. Now that is not financial advice. I'm just a guy who pours silver and talks about shiny things here on YouTube. Please don't take that as financial advice. All I will say is that if you are a buyer of precious metals, then this week you are able to buy more precious metals for your money than you were last week, and that's simply all the difference it makes. I do see a lot of people talking about now being the time to buy the dip. Silver's on discount, now or never. Get in, get in, get in. And to some extent I will agree. I think now is a good time to buy silver, and it is something that will come good in the long run. But when I see people who say they're going to mortgage their house and take out a loan, or they buy it on credit, that's a recipe for disaster, most certainly, and it's definitely something that you should avoid. Now, I know a lot of you out there are sensible, cautious investors that are not out there just to remortgage the house and buy all the silver. But let's just take the last couple of weeks and months as an example. So if you'd got caught up in the big hype of the Wall Street silver movement and the silver squeeze, and you mortgaged your house back in February, March, April, and bought all the silver, you'd be sitting on some very significant negative equity right now, and it would be very difficult to kind of stomach, I think. And I think that's definitely the biggest indication of this last couple of months. You know, a lot of people think and thought it would go up and up and up, and look, we've gone down and down and down. Now, here's my genuine opinion about where prices go. I don't like making price predictions for the future because it's always an unknown. Nobody knows, and that's always a caveat to put in here. If you hear a price prediction from a YouTuber or a Bullion website or a news outlet, it's never going to be something. Nobody's got the inside scoop. But what I think is likely to happen is silver and gold will go down further. When that will happen, I don't know. Will it be immediately next week when the markets open? I don't know, but I do think that silver and gold will fall down further. There is, I think, a bottom now. There is a new norm bottom. Before new norm bottom, that's a funny phrase. And anyway, there are new norms that are there now, new floors. That's the word I was looking for, compared with a few years ago. So a few years ago, you could quite easily see silver going down to $12, $13, $14 an ounce, £10 an ounce we've seen as well. I think that those norms are now around the $20 an ounce mark. I think silver has definitely appreciated, and you look at the way the world is right now and the instability in the world right now, and even the big players in the markets will always hold back some of their safe haven assets. They have to. There's just no way that they would be able to take such risks as they perhaps did in the past. But I do think that with the economies of the world reopening, with the coronavirus, I mean, we're not out of the woods anywhere near that, in fact. And of course, there will be continual affecting factors in our lives because of that situation and pandemic for decades, I think. I don't think this is going anywhere. But at the same time, the world is reopening and the world is starting to get back to some semblance of normality. Now, that comes with other impacts that are related to things like inflated and shortage of shipping costs. I've heard a lot of talk about that over the last couple of weeks and months. And in fact, I've got a couple of friends who I play squash with that run basically a shipping company for sort of yachts and special. Basically, they put boats on back of boats and move them around the world. and they often do that on freight containers and freight ships and things like that when they've got deck space to spare. And they were telling me the other day that there are absolutely ridiculous amounts of premiums being put on deck space, and also processing times at various ports. It's essentially tantamount to, you know, some of the port authorities just saying, you know what, if you pay the most, we'll put you at the front of the queue. Essentially daylight robbery, bribery. And that's just simply down to the world reopening. And that's a really good indication in my mind that there is this complete massive drive out there right now to try and get the world back on track and try and get things moving again. You know, in the UK, there's a big department store called John Lewis, and they did what initially I felt was a little bit of a publicity stunt by announcing that they've basically chartered an entire freight ship to ensure that they get all of their goods in store and in stock for Christmas. I mean, how crazy is that? That must cost an absolute fortune, especially now. And I thought, oh, that's definitely a publicity stunt. But actually, you know, when you look at it and you think about it, actually, that's probably the thing that's needed to do right now to secure where you want to go. So my point of this is, though, that there is this huge opening, this reopening of the world. There is this desire, this demand for everything to try and get back to some semblance of normality. And that is going to drive, I think, economic growth further. And when you get economic growth, I'm afraid to say it, but precious metals come second and third. Gold comes second, silver comes third, and you see these prices go down. At the end of the day, silver and gold are not yielding assets. They don't do anything. They just sit there. They preserve wealth, they preserve buying power, but they don't actively make you money along the way, like dividends and share price increases can be much more volatile and go up and down further. So there are definitely sort of reopening factors to take into account. Of course, the potential for returns is going to outweigh what a lot of people think for silver. Now, where that leaves the stacking community and the people who love this stuff so much is going to be an interesting one going forwards. Now, with the people who want to put as much money as possible into silver and gold, I feel like they're going to miss out on other potential growth areas. And, you know, for I think any sensible person out there, it's important to diversify and not go overboard with your silver or gold. And that's very much something that I'm factoring in when I'm looking at the sort of rest of the year. You know, silver is cheap right now, but there are other things out there that I think are perhaps more potentially better to put money into and to look to go forward with. There's just so much opportunity out there right now. Now, the big unknown factor is going to be, of course, the long-term future of things like inflation and things like interest rates and all of the economic recovery that's going to happen. We've already heard in the UK this last month that there's going to be basically a tax increase. Our national insurance contributions, essentially social security for those of you in the US, is going to go up by not a small margin either, 1.25%. And that's also going to doubly hit employers as well, because they'll have to pay additional amounts on top of their employees' national insurance contributions. So big tax increases, I think, are going to come over the coming years to fund what is essentially going to be a recovery. And that's going to have effect on a whole host of many things, including, of course, value of currencies, not just taxation increases, but just, of course, the amount of debt that we've got. And that's one of the biggest arguments for holding precious metals, is that the value of currencies, the amount of money that has been borrowed to get us through this pandemic, is quite concerning. And that's the reason that I like to have silver and gold around. That's why I have some of it in my greater portfolio. By no means is silver and gold forming the majority, and it's important for everybody else not to do that as well, in my opinion. It's opinions here, guys, not financial advice. But when you look at the potential for currencies to lose value, to devalue, for markets to change and go, cash is just not a good option right now, and precious metals certainly are that slightly better option. What I have said before, and it's a really nice analogy, is that basically having a piece of precious metal, whether it be silver or gold, or to be honest, platinum, palladium, whatever precious metal it might be, think of it like a little house. Think of it like a little piece of property, something real that will have this demand going forwards, and that's something that's really important. If you are not able to buy a house and get on the property ladder, bricks and mortar, but you've still got a little bit of cash, have a think about what other things out there are real, are physical, that can be used to preserve that wealth. You know, you just got to look at property and see how that reacts over a long period of time. And that can now be said for silver and gold. And to be honest, it can be said for a lot of other things like Legos and collectibles, Star Wars, you know, Magic the Gathering cards, whatever it might be. There are things out there that people are investing in that I would never have thought to invest in. Whether you should is another matter. Of course, all these things are great risks, but you know, it is what it is. So that's, you know, basically where I feel we are. I do think there's going to be some price drops still for the rest of the year. A lot of people are asking, when are we going to get $30 silver? Because that seems to be the magic number that will then propel silver further. I'm not entirely sure why 30 or the breach of 30 would, you know, basically make it suddenly go to 50. That's a lot of the sort of theory out there that if it does hit that $30 mark, we're going to suddenly see 50, 60, 70, $80. I will agree that when the breakout happens for silver, if and when the breakout happens for silver, it will be fast and it will be furious and it will go up quickly, and there will be a lot of people who basically are buying the rise, and perhaps it will be a repeat of 2011. And this is the thing, right, that I think is amazing. You get all of these people who genuinely, honestly believe that silver will get to these $100 marks and stay there. That's the thing that is crazy. For me, if silver gets to $50 an ounce, I will be cashing out on a lot of my silver. I've got, of course, you know, a silver stack beyond the poured silver side of things that you see here in front of us. And that will just get cashed out. That will 100% get cashed out. $50 an ounce, yes, please. I mean, you've got to look back at 2010-11 and look at the run up there and just look at the peak, how fast it was coming down the other side. And for people who are buying up and up and up, and of course, when that happens, if it happens, there will be these mass amounts of buying, and there will be a lot of people making a lot of money, and I guarantee that a lot of them will be bullion dealers, not necessarily Joe Public. There will be people like myself who got lucky and bought silver earlier, and it would be a lot cheaper for people to, bought their silver a lot cheaper, and it would be a lot more profitable for us to sell to you guys on the rise up. Whether that's morally right is another matter in its own context, but that's sadly what's going to happen, I'm afraid. It is not necessarily the right idea to be buying your silver when it goes up and up and up. But we shall see where it goes. For the rest of the year, I think there's going to be a slow, steady decline. There'll be ups, there'll be downs, but there will be this slow, steady decline. It also depends somewhat as well on how COVID reacts to winter, sort of general flu pressures. The vaccine is working super well to combat a lot of what we thought it might not even combat. So definitely that is a factor as well that's going to play. So that's basically where I think we are. It's an unknown for sure. Whatever I've said in today's video is very much this, you know, opinion-based long-term view. I don't really think that there's going to be much shooting the moon happening soon, but I could be wrong. So who knows? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. If you are looking at some of these pieces of poured silver on the table and are liking what you see, then go over to our website and check out our shop page. There's a link down in the description below. This piece here, no, not that's the 8 ounce one, that's gone. This 7 ounce Vault bar is I love this piece. It's one of my favorite pieces. Come on, camera, get in focus. And this is currently available on our website. We've also reduced our prices and premiums to reflect the drops in silver price over this last week. So for the very best prices though, please do email me, get in touch directly, and you can look to get hold of this piece. And of course the 100 gram silver forum bars, we've got a few left, and those have also had some price reductions because of the drop in silver price. If there's anything that you are looking to get for Christmas, if you are thinking about Christmas gifts and stuff, I know it's only September, but now is the time to think about it. So please do feel free to get in touch. Email is down in the description below. That's byb@backyardbullion.com. Otherwise, that's it from me. A big thank you to you all for watching. Have a great weekend and week ahead. We'll see you on the next one. And as always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.